Good evening and welcome to Chicago Newsroom 2.0. I'm your host, Andy Zopp. In addition to being Women's History Month, March is also Autoimmune Awareness Month and National Kidney Month. To commemorate all three, we'll sit in conversation with some incredible women doing incredible work to raise awareness around autoimmune diseases and kidney disease. It all begins on the other side of this short break. Stay with us.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Loftus. On the next edition of In the Money, we'll discuss the economy, how to protect and grow your money in a roller coaster economy with my guests, Emerson Duyan and Tamara Durbin.
Because debt is a detractor from you building wealth.
Join the conversation Thursday at 7 p.m. on CAN-TV Cable Channel 19 or stream live on cantv.org or on the CAN-TV Plus app. Experience the power of community television.
Multiple sclerosis is a chronic disease impacting the central nervous system. It's thought to be an autoimmune disorder, a condition where the immune system attacks itself by mistake. The relationship between the immune system and the brain may be considered a culprit. Researchers suggest the immune system may mistake typical brain cells for foreign ones. A 2019 study by the National MS Society revealed that about 1 million people in the U.S. are living with MS and an estimated 2.5 million worldwide. Women are 3 times more likely to receive an MS diagnosis. There are an estimated 200 new cases diagnosed weekly, according to the MS Discovery Forum. There is no evidence of a cause for MS. Although it is not hereditary, the risk is higher if you have a parent or a sibling with MS. To tell us more about MS and the work being done to find a cure and support those living with the autoimmune disorder, I'm joined by Nancy McInroy, President of the Greater Illinois Market of the National MS Society, and Monique B. Jones, President and CEO of Forefront, who is living with MS. Nancy and Monique, thank you so much for being here with me tonight.
Thank you for having us.
So let's just level set for my watchers, and will you just tell us a little bit about what is MS and how does it impact people?
Sure. So multiple sclerosis, as you mentioned, is an autoimmune disease, and in the simplest terms, it interrupts the communication between the brain and the body. So think of it almost as a telephone cord that's frayed. So if the brain is telling the body to perhaps move a leg or to walk or to move an arm, it interrupts that. It interrupts that communication. So that's the most simplest form of multiple sclerosis, and really the way that it affects the body. It can affect the body in multiple different ways, from cognitive impairments to physical impairments. It really affects everybody very, very differently.
Monique, what was your experience? How did you realize or find out that you had MS?
My walking was being interrupted.
Oh, wow.
I was experiencing a seizure while I was wide awake. It was called a spasm, and it happened a few times, but I mistook it for working out and getting a cramp in your leg or your hand, which I think is typical what people will do. Yeah. And that is the main thing that took me to the emergency room and got all the tests run back in 2019.
Wow, 2019, that's not that long ago.
It's not that long ago.
And what are your symptoms, how are you doing? Are your symptoms progressing, or how do you feel? Or?
They're not. I have what's called relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis, and so that symptom could come back. Other things that happen with multiple sclerosis is it could affect your vision, and so my vision had gotten a little bad. But I'm aging.
Exactly. So is mine.
I was experiencing high blood pressure, so I monitor that, make sure it's not rising again. And every once in a while, I just get a little tingle in my hand or my foot, but no symptom progression.
That's
grateful. The medication that I'm taking is helping with that.
So how many people in Illinois are suffering from MS?
There's about 22,000 people that live in the state of Illinois that live with multiple sclerosis. Yet we know that there are probably more, and perhaps just like Monique, that have a symptom and pass it off as something else, or it just takes them so long to be diagnosed. But at this point in time, we can say with confidence that there's about 22,000 people in Illinois.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so easy to mistake.
I'm sure.
There's no telling how long I actually had it, but my debilitating issue took me to the emergency room where I easily figured it out.
Oh, really? Once you got to the emergency room,
Amazingly, once I got to the emergency room, it was empty.
Yeah.
It was a Thursday morning.
Yeah, all right. That's a gift. Start there.
Let's start
Yes.
there. And they were able to run all the tests, which included MRIs and spinal taps. And
Okay.
I got that done within 24 hours. That confirmed my diagnosis.
Wow.
Some people don't get those. They spread out over weeks, months, years even.
Yes, absolutely. And that's, just as you mentioned, for the good or for the bad, right? You were diagnosed fairly quickly, but unfortunately, some people will go years with these symptoms. They'll be misdiagnosed. It really is just so fortunate that you were diagnosed so early and could get on some medication or some treatment very, very early.
So is it, in the opening I talked about the fact that this is a disease that impacts women more heavily. Is that what you see, Nancy, in your organization?
It does. You're exactly right. There's 3 times as many women that live with multiple sclerosis as men, and we really don't know why. We have theories, but we can't pinpoint exactly why more women are diagnosed. But unfortunately, that is a fact of living with multiple sclerosis.
Right, which I think could be another reason why it often doesn't get diagnosed, because women are the ones who are like, yeah, whatever, like you did. You're like, I went to the gym, or I must have slept on my arm the wrong way, or I'm just getting older. We always find another excuse when the symptoms start as minor, which I think sometimes MS symptoms do. Right?
They do start as minor and they can progress, but things like fatigue. Who's not tired?
Right. Exactly.
Right, and so those things just fall right into what you're supposed to feel as a parent, as someone who's working, as someone who's doing all those things.
What kind of doctors, just again for my audience, what are the kind of doctors that you ultimately manage and that you go to for MS?
I have a neurologist. Okay. So yes, you'll have a primary care physician, but the person that will diagnose you and will treat you is a neurologist. Okay. Hopefully one who knows a lot about multiple sclerosis.
Right. A specialist, because it is a specialty. An area where you want somebody who has some experience, right?
Absolutely, and there are so many amazing neurologists in our communities, and we know that general neurologists do have a working knowledge of multiple sclerosis. But what we do at the National MS Society is we really seek out and we train neurologists to become MS specialists, because we want to know that when folks go to see their neurologist, that this is a disease and something that they study, that they're very well versed in, that they know all of the latest disease modifying therapies, that they see many, many, many patients with MS, not perhaps one a month or just a few a year.
Right. So you touched on a little bit about what the MS Society does. Can you talk a little bit about what you do also for people who have MS, their family members, and overall kind of your mission and purpose?
Sure. So really our dream, our mission, our vision is to end multiple sclerosis forever. We put the word cure into our mission statement because we find that it's important. It's our end goal. We want to cure multiple sclerosis and improve the lives of people living with MS to live their best lives. But what the National MS Society does is we want to be that one-stop shop for people that are newly diagnosed with MS, for people that have lived with multiple sclerosis for many years. We want to be that information resource to provide answers to questions that you may not be able to get answered in a 10-minute visit with your neurologist. We provide financial assistance, and especially during the past couple of years where we found that our MS community was so challenged with the cost of medicine, the cost of paying a mortgage, food, things of that nature. We provide some financial assistance to help ease that burden. We provide a sense of community, a sense of, you're not alone. We want to introduce newly diagnosed patients to those that have lived with MS for a while. We want to, again, form that sense of community, but provide those resources. We want to advocate for the multiple sclerosis community, advocate for lower drug costs, advocate for improving health care. We're proud of what we do. We're the largest multiple sclerosis organization in the country. And again, we exist to help folks like Monique and the others that live with MS in our communities.
And how has the society been and impacted your life, Monique, and helped you?
So interesting, because the first thing you do when you're diagnosed with anything is you get online.
Exactly, which is good and bad, right? There's a lot of information, and that's a good thing. It can be not a good thing.
You Google and you get on Facebook, and of course the first thing that pops up is Multiple Sclerosis Society, and it's opt-in. So what I learned there was, I learned the etymology of my disease. I learned what doctors were in the surrounding area that would help me figure it out. I learned more about all the medication options, and I was able to opt in to all the information that I needed and able to opt into group conferences and group calls. It was very informational, still scary because it is what it is, but I had all the information at my fingertips that I needed to help make really good decisions about my care.
Right. Wow. It seems just naturally to me that this would be a good disease to have a community, right? Because
Absolutely.
people are, you can live with it for a very long time. And so to know that and to be able to talk to people or understand what you're going through and get a suggestion, has that been true for you?
It has. I had just moved into the home of my dreams that had 3 levels to walk through. And my first concern was, oh my goodness, will I be able to walk for the entirety of my life? At the time I had an 8-year-old daughter. I was like, will I be able to see her grow? And I've learned from folks connected with the National MS Society and folks connected to other parallel organizations that absolutely, I'll live my best life still and be the greatest I can be.
Right. Well, and you're a senior leader at an important organization, Forefront, which is a critical organization supporting philanthropy here in Chicago. How has it impacted your leadership journey?
It has opened my eyes to what I actually need to advocate for myself and for my team. So coming to my office to be my full self, my board knew exactly who there was when they hired me. They knew if I needed any accommodations. It opened my eyes to be able to advocate better for not only my team, but for the folks that we serve in other organizations. It's just an added element of how to be a better leader and how to navigate the situation.
Well, so important. I think self-advocacy is really critical, and we often don't do it, especially as women, enough. So I know, Nancy, that it's MS Week, I believe. I also know that the MS Society has a couple big events coming up. Will you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing this week and to raise awareness and your events that are coming up?
Thank you for recognizing that. And perhaps you've noticed that Monique and I are twinning.
I did. I thought maybe it was just I had not gotten the memo, but it was actually more important than that, right?
Yes. Yeah. So orange is the color of multiple sclerosis in the National MS Society. So we are proudly representing MS Awareness Week. You may notice in the Chicago skyline, many of the buildings are lit up orange, which is exciting to see. We have a big event coming up on Thursday, May 16th at the Union League Club. It's our Together for a Cure MS Luncheon, of which Monique B. Jones is our honoree, and we are honored and thrilled to have you on board.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. So, so the luncheon, and if people want to get more information about the luncheon and about the MS Society, do they do that online? Is there a website that they can just Google?
They can. They can Google the Together for a Cure luncheon in Chicago, because they happen throughout the country.
Throughout the country, yeah.
Are there other things that we can tell people, if they're having symptoms, and how that you would want, the message you would want to leave with them, Monique?
No matter what you're having, don't ignore it. Do not ignore your symptoms. If you, no matter what you suspect, I actually encourage people to Google it and then follow up. Don't just Google it and let it go, but take care of yourself.
Or Google it and get scared, right?
Right. Don't let it scare you. Let it make you more curious and to find out. So that is my tip for people. Make sure you follow up with what you've Googled.
Right. And Nancy, how about you? What is the MS Society? What's the message you want to get out to people?
I think just as Monique mentioned, the message is hope. The message is that you can live a very productive, healthy, fantastic life living with multiple sclerosis. And if you are diagnosed, or somebody that has been recently diagnosed with MS, reach out to us, ask the questions. We have resources, we have information, we have community, we have people that we can connect you with to really help along that journey.
Right. So, I think the two really important messages, there's hope and you are not alone.
Absolutely.
Right?
Exactly.
Thank you both. As I said when I started, incredible women doing incredible work. Thank you both for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We will be right back right after this break to talk about kidney disease. Thank you.
This week on Change Agents, we will meet some leaders who are passionate about educating and empowering our refugee youth right here in Chicago.
There's no limitations here once you get here. And, even if your parents didn't have the opportunity, now you can do what they didn't do.
Join me this Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on CAN TV 19. Stream us live on cantv.org or watch us on the CAN TV Plus app. Experience the power of community television.
Your kidneys are remarkable organs. Each just the size of a computer mouse, they filter all the blood in your body every 30 minutes. They work hard to remove waste, toxins, and excess fluid. They also help control blood pressure, stimulate production of red blood cells, keep your bones healthy, and regulate blood chemicals that are essential for life. Kidneys that function properly are critical for maintaining good health. However, more than 1 in 7 American adults are estimated to have chronic kidney disease, or CKD. To tell us more about chronic kidney disease and the supports and treatments available for Chicagoans living with it, I'm joined by Monica Fox, Senior Director of Outreach and Government Affairs for the National Kidney Foundation of Illinois. Welcome to the newsroom, Monica.
Thank you, Andy. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So first, what are the leading causes of chronic kidney disease?
So the leading causes of chronic kidney disease are uncontrolled high blood pressure and uncontrolled diabetes.
And I would think, given that those are the leading causes, that chronic kidney disease might be a significant issue for African Americans.
It absolutely is. African Americans are 4 times more likely than Caucasians to suffer with chronic kidney disease because of those reasons. There are also some genetic factors that can cause chronic kidney disease, but those are the leading 2 causes.
And what happens when you have chronic kidney disease? How does it impact your kidneys?
Well, when you have chronic kidney disease, your kidneys, think of your kidneys as a coffee filter. And so if you have a coffee filter and coffee grounds are getting into your coffee, then that filter is not working so well.
Right.
So that's what begins to happen with your kidneys. It's a filter. It's meant to filter, all the blood through your body. And when they stop working properly, that's a problem. And so it's usually a gradual progression. There are 5 stages of chronic kidney disease, stages 1 through 5. At stage 5, that's when you need a replacement therapy of dialysis or transplant.
Wow.
And people usually learn about their kidney disease around stage 3A or 3B.
Really? So, and 3A or 3B is what?
So that's when your kidney function is less than 60%. So that's when it really becomes a concern, and they want to, look at what you can do to make changes that can impact and slow the progression of the kidney disease.
And is it important to get treatment or get seen or get under care earlier? Is it earlier the better? That is with a lot of chronic diseases. Is that true with CKD?
Absolutely. The earlier the better you get treatment, you will go a long way. So you can make dietary changes. As with most chronic illnesses, a healthy diet and exercise can really make a difference. Mm-hmm. So that can slow the progression of chronic kidney disease. Chronic kidney disease is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States.
Wow.
And really it's preventable. It doesn't have to lead to death.
Right. So speaking of preventable, we kind of went to stage 3 just so people know what are the first 2 stages that they should look out for and think about going to a doctor if they see them.
So you really don't see any signs and symptoms of chronic kidney disease until the very end, till it's too late. So early on, it's really just looking at your lab results and having conversations with your doctor.
So important to get an annual physical.
It's important to get an annual physical. It's important to understand your numbers. Just like you know what your blood pressure should be, you should know what your eGFR, which is the measure of your kidney function, should be.
Right, and you know that from your personal story, you have been impacted by CKD.
Oh, absolutely.
Why don't you tell, if you don't mind, sharing with my viewers about your story?
Yes, so my story is one that is not uncommon, and that I work to try to help others not to follow in my footsteps. I was suddenly diagnosed with kidney failure.
Oh, wow.
I presented at to the ER, short of breath, and I really had multiple organ failure, but my kidneys had failed. And I had, as soon as they were able to stabilize my heart function, they immediately put in a chest catheter and gave me the first of what turned out to be 3 years of dialysis treatments.
Oh, wow. And dialysis treatment is effective, but it's hard, right?
It's hard. Dialysis treatments are hard on your heart. So it's not an easy process to go through, but it's life-changing. It's life-saving. I say I thrived on dialysis because I learned a lot about it, and I was able to be active with my treatments and do what was best for my body.
Right.
And advocate for myself.
And ultimately, when you get to that point, you have kidney failure, the main treatment is transplant, right?
Transplant is the best treatment.
Right.
And but when you are suddenly diagnosed, then dialysis is inevitable.
Right. Exactly.
I received a transplant after 3 years of dialysis, so I've been living with my transplanted kidney for over 7 years.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Yes. So it was a wonderful gift that I received from my deceased donor, Milton.
Oh, wow. So, well, I think that raises another point, right? The importance of organ donation, and particularly, again, for African Americans. So is that something that is part of your organization you support and encourage?
Yes, we do support and encourage organ donation. It's important for everyone to be a registered organ donor. And we also support and encourage living donation because most healthy people have 2 kidneys and can live a long, healthy life with just one. And so through the gift of a living donor, many lives are being saved.
Right. And I've seen articles about people who've donated kidneys for people who couldn't find one on the transplant list, and it has been transformational. So
yes.
I think, again, an important message for our audience to know that, if you know someone who needs a kidney, you should think about becoming a donor, or at least being tested, right?
Yes, and it's the best physical you ever have in your life, because they really do test donors to be sure that they would not be at risk if they give a kidney to someone else.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about your organization. And we've talked so much around the organization. I want to make sure we have time to get to the National Kidney Foundation of Illinois. Talk a little bit about what you do, how you do it, how you work with people, and your mission.
Yes, so our mission is to support and encourage the people who are living with or at risk for chronic kidney disease through prevention, education, and empowerment. So we advocate for those who are living with chronic kidney disease. We have programs for people who are living with kidney disease and their families. All of our programming is free. We have some really transformational programs. One is called Take Charge. Take charge of your health. Take charge of your kidney health. And it's a small group setting where we teach people how to do just that and how to advocate for themselves and how to live their best life with kidney disease.
Right. Terrific.
And then we have wonderful events and programs. In June, we have our Walk for Kidneys coming up, which is a wonderful networking opportunity. People from all over the state come together who have kidney disease, and their families, and meet up with all these great vendors and exhibitors and just have a great day on the lakefront at Diversey Harbor.
Okay, that's on the north side at Diversey Harbor, and that's in June?
That's in June, yes.
Great. And do you have like communities like Facebook or places where people can talk to others who may have the disease, or have support groups or things like that for people?
So there aren't really any. There are pages on Facebook that people go to, but we have our website and we have, our phone number that people can call. We do provide support for those who are living with kidney disease. We walk through transplant with people if they choose, and, because it can be really a quiet, lonely journey to go from dialysis to transplant. So we really support people in that way.
Wow, that's terrific.
And we really focus on prevention. And our main focus on prevention comes through our kidney mobile.
You have a kidney
We have
mobile?
a kidney mobile.
I love that.
So we go throughout the state of Illinois.
Is that like the Wiener mobile, but it's a kidney?
It's a van that's full of equipment that we take to different community partners throughout the state. And we partner with them. They promote the kidney screening, bring in people from the community to have free screenings. And we check everything up through their kidney function.
Right.
So it's comprehensive screenings, including blood pressure, blood sugar, BMI, urinalysis. They get a comprehensive consultation with a medical professional, and they leave with all their results. And if they need to be transferred to care, we do make that recommendation. If they just need to go back to their own doctor, then we make that recommendation.
And is it, can you go to see church groups or,
Sure.
because I know a lot of my viewers belong to church organizations, and so you could come to see a church or
Yes,
something, so that would be
we
something
do.
if people are interested in it.
We go to a lot of churches and do kidney screenings. We also do community health talks at churches where we will go and be there after service, and they'll have 25 or 30 people that'll show up, and we present to them the information about kidney health and about our foundation.
Wow. And so people want to get more information or where they can sign up to get the kidney mobile.
Sure.
They go, do you have a website?
Yes, our website is nkfi.org.
Okay. All right.
Yes, and
terrific.
we are on all social media platforms as well.
nkfi.org.
Yes, so
all right.
like National Kidney Foundation of Illinois, just our initials.
Terrific. Well, we are, hard to believe, really out of time, Monica, but I do want to say, I think you had some really important messages, which is, again, there's hope.
There is hope.
You can do prevention, and equally important, you're not alone. Right?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We are here to help people.
And you are a living success story, which
Thank
is
you.
A beautiful way to carry your message. Thank you so much for being here. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate
This has
it.
been delightful.
Thank you. All right, we will be right back with my final thoughts after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Bianca Cotton. Join me Mondays at 7 p.m. for Behind the Confident Smile as I sit in conversation with incredible, dynamic, and complex Chicagoans who peel back the layers, living lessons, the joy, and the pain behind their confident smiles. You can watch on CanTV 19, cantv.org, and CanTV Plus app.
As we close out Women's History Month, I'd like to take this time to salute the women who have and continue to bring home that bacon and fry it up in that pan. Women are the givers and chief nurturers of life. They are problem solvers, multitaskers, and troubleshooters who can get a full day's worth of work completed in the car during rush hour traffic while doing their makeup. While our magic is real, our invincibility, I'm afraid, is not. Queens, we must insist on time for self-care, pay attention to our health, and resist the urge that came through years of conditioning to not put ourselves first every once in a while. You are indeed superheroes whose worth is too often undervalued and underappreciated. But remember, even heroes need a minute now and then to heal, rebalance, and reset. Women, trust and believe that we are the glue that keeps this all together. But in order to ensure that we have what it takes to continue to use our superpowers for good, we have to take fuller, more active, more consistent care of our spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. If we don't treat ourselves with care and respect, we cannot expect others to do so. So in the words of one of our sheroes, give yourselves some time, care, and RESPECT. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, be well and well informed. Good night.